Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So today we're going to be going over a pretty interesting situation in the art scene on Twitter where there's some drama involving freedom of speech. Of course, the Twitter court of public opinion that is harassing this artist for the past couple of days. And this is a classic example of a cancellation campaign directed towards an artist that ultimately backfires. This artist named Neko, we're going to be talking about today, went from 500 followers a few days ago to nearly 12,000 right now. So again, it's backfired horribly. We've seen this happen many different times, and pretty much this whole situation involves a commission they denied, and it has to do with their personal and religious beliefs. They basically didn't want to draw something that makes them uncomfortable. That's it. It's literally a battle of Twitter users trying to understand that no means no. And here is the main person who started the entire harassment campaign, a self-diagnosed magical girl named Richie. This individual posted a message from the artist, and it went viral, and as you can see, eventually it turned on them. They got exposed for being a lot of different things, and didn't look good for them, and now they are in hiding. And once again, well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions. So here's where everything starts. The artist Neko here is on a platform named VGen, which is another place where you can commission an artist for a piece. And this is the updated terms of service, and we'll talk about the process of them updating it. But they basically reserve the right to decline any request they're not comfortable drawing. That is pretty much the baseline for like everyone. You're not forced to take on every commission request made to you, especially if the subject matter makes you uncomfortable. So here's the post. It's a screenshot because this person has gone private, but this post would go viral where they say, "Well, gang, I wouldn't recommend trying to commission if you're a queer person, I guess," quoting Neko's post here. And they show the screenshot. It is a communication from the artist Neko saying, "Hi, hello, Richie. I was reviewing the waitlist and came across your Yume ship request. I truly apologize for the mistake of adding you before carefully reviewing it. Unfortunately, I won't be able to work on this piece as I don't draw queer couples. Please know it's absolutely nothing against your character or idea. It simply comes from my personal religious belief, and I'm trying to stay faithful to that. I deeply apologize for not clarifying this earlier and for my inconvenience or disappointment this may cause. I'm sincerely grateful for your interest in Neko Mission, and I truly appreciate your understanding. Thank you so much again, and I'm really sorry for the oversight." So this is a theme you're going to see, very professional responses from the artist, and this is basically the scenario. The person made a commission request where they want to draw a queer couple, and this person says, based on my personal religious belief, I'm not comfortable doing that. In fact, in other scenarios, they offered to maybe draw them like platonically or something like that, but yeah, so they turned it down and said, "Hey, I'll be a little more clear with my TOS." They apparently just started using this platform a few days ago, and they weren't too clear on how things were working, so they apologized. And this person makes this tweet, it goes viral, and they make it very clear in the replies that they believe this person is homophobic for denying their commission request, saying also that it's crazy that someone plays Genshin Impact and is homophobic. That is a very weird and terminally online statement right there. But like I said, it goes viral. People are calling this artist a homophobe and all these things, and they're getting canceled. And you can see the first response they made by quoting the previous post. It has 4.6 million views, by the way. But to sum this up, because there's a lot of long threads in this, and let's keep it brief here, they basically say I wasn't really expecting all this, and they're sorry to the client for what happened, and that they just opened up VGen a few days ago, and they were not fully aware of how the system works, and know that they're not queer-phobic and that they're surrounded by queer people in real life and online, but they choose to not engage in activities related to queer relationships, especially when it comes to making their commissions. And they take full responsibility for the misunderstanding and that they'll be more clear in their TOS in the future. And then they thank everyone. Like, again, another very professional response, but the responses to them were unhinged, to say the least. You can see this totally sane individual saying we need to find her and rip off her hijab. And I don't care who's feeling it. She's a violent homophobe. And I hope she's dragged until she's so unrecognizable. Yes, this is over denying an art commission, by the way. Here's another one saying, I hope you know that if you didn't do freelance work, you would be 100% fired from an actual job for discriminating against gay people. F you. And I hope you lose money because of this. There's no hate like religious love. Wow, that one goes hard if you're an avid Reddit user. But here's another one I see over and over again where people are posting their updated rules where they say they don't take commissions involving queer romantic pairings due to personal boundaries. And people are posting this like, aha, gotcha. I mean, there's people literally stating that this artist is violating people's civil liberties, that they have illegally discriminated against queer people. But that's not what happened here. The artist is not saying, if you're a queer person, I won't work with you. They will gladly work with you. They just don't want to make queer commissions, like featuring two same-sex characters. That is within their right. There's a lot of laws on the books, and there's several Supreme Court cases that went over the same issue where someone's being commissioned and they're being asked to do a service that involves gay rights or gay marriage or something like that. And on religious and freedom of speech grounds, they say, I'm not comfortable doing that. And the court has said, that's what you can do. You might not like it, but this person is expressing their personal boundaries and you're mad at them. This is the thing too. I don't understand. Why would you want someone to do artwork that makes them uncomfortable? Like, why would you want that person to express that sort of theme that makes them uncomfortable? Why would you want them? Why wouldn't you just go to another artist? There are plenty of artists who will not draw straights character, like straight relationships, straight pairings. That is a real thing, and that's totally fine because that is their personal boundaries. That is their preference. And this ultimately comes down to Twitter users not being able to take no for an answer. Now, you're probably wondering what happened to this Richie individual. Why did they end up going private? Well, as their post got more attention, people started looking at their posts as well. And right here, they make it very clear on the related subject, saying, no, because there isn't something like straight phobia. It doesn't exist the same way you can't be racist towards white people. Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way. This person made it very clear that they don't like straight people and they don't like white people and they don't think you can discriminate against them, which is a classic Twitter move. Anytime we're dealing with people like this, it's almost like a 90% chance they're going to feel like this. But also on top of that, they would double down on that tweet saying, by the way, I really don't give a F. I stand by this even if y'all call me every slur in the book. And then they also reposted this recently, where someone had a post with November is Men's Mental Health Month, or Health Month, and they put this big stamp on there saying nobody gives a F, basically saying no one cares about the well-being of men. So this person doesn't like straight people, white people, and men. Congratulations, a trifecta, if you will. But they would apologize because they started getting dunked on for the post we just saw, and honestly, people are re-examining the entire situation and saying, why'd you even do this in the first place? But they say this: hello, I would like to make a statement regarding the artist situation. I don't condone any form of harassment. I never sent them threats to them myself or told others to do so. I did share my DMs with them through VGen, which I immediately got attacked for as well, getting called every slurs in the book, but I never had any ill intentions as someone wants to paint me with. I was simply trying to warn my queer mutuals so they don't have to go through the same disappointment as me, because the artist did not specify excluding queers in their TOS at the time of my OG post. I don't agree that just because they were polite, we should excuse queer phobia. While I do agree I could have handled the matter privately, I just never expected the tweet to leave my circle the way it did. So you see what they're doing right here. They're doing two things primarily. They're making themselves the victim. Yes, they made a call-out post. They accused this artist of being a homophobe. That artist gets dragged, threatened, harassed. But somehow this person's the victim. And it's pretty crazy they're even attempting to do that. And on top of that, you see the way they are talking about what happened. They're saying that the artist, she was excluding queers. No, she was making her boundary set. She said, based on my religious beliefs, I am not comfortable drawing that sort of theme. And now you're making it sound like she's excluding queer people, like actual people, from either reaching out for a commission or something like that. They are exaggerating the situation to make it look like this artist is literally hurting real people with these actions instead of just putting up personal boundaries in their TOS and in the art they produce. But they continue on saying, I still stand by everything I have said. I don't believe heterophobia exists. You guys will never be oppressed as you claim to be. Neither do I believe in white racism. As a person with white upbringing, white people do not have the same history experiencing racism as a person of color, and we will never fully understand what a person of color goes through. I'm glad you're speaking on behalf of people of color. I'm glad you're speaking on their behalf. It's the savior complex. It's the self-hatred. We see this on Twitter all the time. It's just, yeah, not great. My account was private with my replies locked because I am not obligated to argue or have any conversation with bigots who don't really have any significance in my life. I stand by what I previously said because I know how much my tweet meant to all the queers around the world from all the messages I got. Thank you guys. Everyone else, get more hashtag woke now. What a splendid apology, a non-apology, if you will. This is like Twitter apology in a nutshell. They should have just brought out a ukulele at this point. Like, this is pretty embarrassing. It's the self-deprecation. It's making themselves the victim in the scenario, saying they don't care about all these bigots and people, basically, you know, anyone who disagrees with them. And they're making these snide remarks at the end here, and acting like they're the hero of so many different communities because they had the guts to stand up and share their truth, which, of course, we know how that goes. They went private, so they weren't too bold on their statements. But again, Neko, the artist, would respond. This is a very long thread, so I'm just going to sum up the most important highlights here. But they say that they want to express their deepest gratitude to those who offer their kindness and support. And the main issue is that they will continue standing by their decision, and they've updated their terms of service. They've made it very clear what they're doing there and what they won't do and where their boundaries are, and that they're new to the platform, and that was some of the confusion again, just to make that clear, and that they don't hold any resentment towards those who misunderstood or spoke out of confusion. I understand how quickly things can escalate online. At the end of the day, I only wish for a healthy and respectful environment where both artists and clients can communicate openly without fear of misinterpretation. I'll keep striving to create art and build connections that reflect kindness and respect for everyone involved. And they also wanted to apologize for a recent WhatsApp status. Apparently, it had something that people were taking offense to, but they apologize for that as well. And they say this can serve as a reminder to be more mindful about what we share publicly, especially when emotions are high. And then they also go down saying, moving on, I will always keep my head high to respect every religion, sexuality, and race. I also want to make it clear that I hold no hatred or discrimination towards queer people. I truly respect everyone for who they are. This is the bigot everyone's talking about. Well, they're not very good at being a bigot if they're talking like this. This is a professional response. I believe this artist is 19, by the way. This is a great response. This is a very difficult subject matter and can get really messy really quick. And when you got people breathing down your throat, calling you a bigot, and going viral doing so, it's hard to come up with a good response like this that actually feels pretty heartfelt. So at the end of the day, they set boundaries. They didn't convey it the most clear way in their TOS. They updated it, apologized for it, but people still believe this person is quite literally like discriminating openly against queer people, and that's not the case. They're just simply putting a boundary on what they feel comfortable drawing in commissions. But of course, the response to this was filled with a lot of support, but also a lot of hatred as well. Individuals like this saying, yeah, you and your homophobic religion and culture can suck it, actually, effing idiot. Ladies and gentlemen, the tolerant people, they've lost their cool. The mask has completely slipped off right here. Here's another artist saying, it's crazy that you can be homophobic and nothing will happen. You also gain more followers if you're polite enough about it. Interesting seeing people defending her, also calling LGBT people mentally ill or something like that. I don't know. Really telling when you think about it. Well, This last part's interesting because I'm seeing people saying they're going to harm the artist in real life. They're going to track her down. I see people calling her slurs and saying things about her religion. We just saw one 2 seconds ago. So are you going to blame the people who are calling her out collectively for the actions of those people? Like, this standard doesn't really work in your favor. And on top of this, this part right here just feels like jealousy. Like, I guess you're mad that they gained support when they were harassed by a mob of people, and people saw that, and instead of joining in on the mob, they showed support. But here's another one saying, y'all will let religious bigots hate crime you in broad daylight if they were polite enough about it. Showing some related tweets and artwork. And of course, how does that end? Muted. Yes, because people were disagreeing with this, and this person couldn't deal with their headcanon of the situation being challenged. Here's another one saying the amount of people defending her is insane. Yes, not accepting a commission specifically because you don't like drawing a gay couple is homophobia. If another person refused to draw a Muslim because they don't feel comfortable with their religion, that would also be discrimination. So again, people are setting boundaries. They don't feel comfortable based on their religious views drawing a certain theme. Like, are you going to force them to do it? Is that like the answer here? Is that the only remedy? Like, we're going to force people to draw things that make them uncomfortable on a personal level? And you have this person trying to set up a scenario saying, problem is you don't respect queer people. If I walked into your coffee shop, ordered myself a drink, and came to my table and said, sorry, we don't serve queer people here, it would be considered discrimination. That's not what happened. This is like madness. She did not refuse a commission because the person who made the commission is queer. No, that's not, this analogy does not work the way this person thinks it is. Here, let me expand on it, right? It's like going to the coffee shop and saying to the waiter, I want a coffee. Okay, they're making the coffee. Then you say, wait a second, can I have some latte art? And you make it of a queer couple kissing. And they have the right at that point to say, no, not doing that part. That's what we're talking about here. It's not like this person's just outright refusing to serve anyone who is queer. That's 100% not what's happening here. It's about the subject matter, not the person requesting that commission. But they probably know that. They're just being obtuse. But here's someone saying, as a trans person, this situation kind of upset me. How are we going to demand respect but try to cancel someone for setting a religious boundary? She was kind and respectful about it, and Twitter jumped her. Meanwhile, she's been very openly supporting queer people. Well, in the minds of Twitter users, they have basically wrote her off as a bigot, and that pretty much is that. But anyways, you can see how crazy the situation has got. People are making like sub posts about it, saying like, if you want to call me a bully for standing up for gay people and for being upset that an artist that draws demon poontang and canonically queer characters declines someone for being queer. That, again, that is not, it's literally not what happened. It's not because someone was queer making the commission. Also, I saw these claims about them drawing like adult content. I looked through their media tab, their feed. I didn't see anything like that. So I don't know really where people are getting it. The closest thing I saw was like a shirtless male character. So I don't really know where people are coming up with this, but you can see it's virtue signaling on steroids over here. People are taking advantage of the moment to dogpile this artist, but unfortunately for them, it didn't work. And just like in many other cases where someone's trying to dogpile an artist or a content creator or whatever, it ends up working in their favor. Is it a headache? Of course. This person clearly didn't want to go through all this, but now that they made it through the other side, a lot of people gain respect for them. And also, they gained about 11,500 followers. So pretty good for them. I'll put a link to their account in the description if you want to check them out. We always like to support artists around here. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.